Good afternoon. It's Saturday, November 21st. I'm back in the reading nook and I'm going to unbox a role-playing game I have had on my shelf for about 30 years and indeed is 30 years old, and that is Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, which was written by Mike Pondsmith, whose name will be familiar right now as the author and publisher of Cyberpunk Red, but he wrote this for TSR Inc. in 1990. It's based upon the famous newspaper strip from the 20s and 30s and onwards, but given a new treatment by Flint Dill, the grandson of the owner of the syndication rights. Let's have a look. The 25th century comes alive. Spitting pillars of flame, rocket ships break up up the darkness and the vastness of outer space. The planets and satellites of the solar system are home to a multitude of colonists and privateers. Genetically modified humans and even stranger artificial life forms inhabit the areas where normal men could not survive. Mars, a dead planet mere centuries before, is now the centre of a power among the inner worlds. And Earth, the ancestral home of mankind, is a devastated world trying to recover from war and pollution to claim its rightful place in the tapestry of human civilization that now stretches from the blazing plains of Mercury to the barren icy rocks circling Saturn. Into this arena of intrigue and conflict is thrust a single individual with the power to tip the scales in favour of the planet where he was born. This man is Buck Rogers, born in the long ago 20th century, but now very much alive and one in the 25th. Over all the centuries in between, two basic facts about humanity have not changed. The fact is that man's greatest enemy is man himself, and the second is that one man can make a difference. The 21st century role-playing game describes the world of the 25th century in vivid detail. Join the forces of the New Earth organisation and help Buck Rogers and his allies fight the tyranny of the Martians. Team up with other members of your group to buy a spaceship and go into business for yourselves, running blockades or carrying vital supplies and information. Make a fortune or lose one by visiting the solar system's biggest casino in the asteroid belt. All of these opportunities and countless others are open to players of the 25th century game. In the world of the 25th century, the sky is not the limit, it's just the first step on a long and exciting journey. The game box includes everything a group of players needs to start an adventuring campaign: characters and combat, a 96-page book of rules, the world book, 64 pages of information about the places and people of the solar system, the technology book, 32 pages of description about the equipment and weaponry of the 25th century, four large colour maps, the bustling spaceport at Tycho on the Moon, interior diagrams of 2 ship types, scaled for use with 25mm miniature figures, a graphic display of the inner solar system, an outer space hex grid for conducting ship-to-ship combat, a special see-through measuring device for moving the ships between planets, 24 full-colour cards, 13 different kinds of spaceships, 7 major non-NPCs of the 25th century game universe, including Buck Rogers, maps of Mars, Venus, Earth and Luna, a sheet of die-cut counters and markers, a fold-out referee screen with all the charts and tables needed during play, plus a set of dice. So, let's get inside. So, there's the dice, standard ink dice. So there's the characters and combat book. It's black and white inside, lightly illustrated. Here are some of the genius. Let's just show you. Go. More artwork there. Basically, the system is based off Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, but with changes, which I'll go into detail later on. It's a class and level system, so you have careers such as the Rocket Jock, Warrior, Scout, Engineer, Rogue, Medic, and so on. Basically you have skills and skill checks, which are rolled on percentages, And you've got a full list of skills. Essentially, combat covers everything brawling to blasters, and then you've got rocket ships, and there's a ship construction system in there. It covers space sports and space combat, gyro cannons, and missiles and lasers and acceleration guns, and so on. So there's basically the idea of what space combat is like. So basically that's everything you need to sort of create characters and sort of run the game. And then below that you have the world book. This is thinner, but it covers the solar system, because this version of Buck Rogers is limited to the solar system. So Mercury, Venus, Earth, the Lagrange colonies, Luna, Mars, asteroid belt, and the outer worlds. You've got the background, basically the chronology from 1999 through to sort of like 2456, and then it details each of the worlds. Basically, there's enough background and detail in here to create. These are basically draw from for adventures. So we come to the technology book, and this covers archaeologies, terraforming, spin gravity, security, gadgets, medicine, heavy weapons, personal weapons, armor and protection. That's quite a familiar sort of piece of artwork. I'm sure I've seen that one before. Let's have a look. Yeah. So this is Buck Rogers. I think it must be TSR's second attempt at sort of like a science fiction role-playing game. You had Star Frontiers, and then you had this Buck Rogers, and after that you would have had the various books for the Amazing Engine system, and I think after that would be Alternative. So below that, what you've also got in the book is referee screen, tables and statistics. Fairly simple, all white, black and white, everything the GM needs. And then you get into these cards. Okay, these are basically A4 or US letter size. So what you've got is the Lady Jane Grey on one side. She's a light stock freighter. And then on the back you've got all the details, and it does the same things for like the RMS Kreis, and so on the back, and it goes through, you know, and so on. So it's sort of like, you know, spaceships, Ardala Valmar's Princess of Mars, so maybe villain Black Barney's Free Enterprise, the pirate. And so on and so on. The ships going through, and this is sort of something that was, I believe, probably copied from Space Jammer, because they used a lot of cards in there to basically highlight their ships. A couple of fighters, fighter rockets, and then Killer Kane's Rogue, and then we go on to the NPCs. I'll just tidy this up. So there's Ardala Valmar, Princess Ardala, Buck Rogers himself. So on the back you have full biography here, and the stats and so on. Black Barney, Wilma Deering, Sigmund Holozine, who is the head of RAM, the Russo-American combined sort of thing, basically the bad guys of the setting. Killer Kane is a mercenary who works for RAM. Dr. Hewer, who is actually an artificial intelligence in this setting. No Twiki, Sorry. Then you've got maps of the planets. And again, you know, for example, for Luna, you basically got all the stats on the back. And then Mars and Venus. And then you have basically a distance template for travel, counters, and then you've got the maps. So these are quite large. So I won't be able to get all of this in. Just get some idea. Okay, that's Tycho spaceport. On the back, you've got the grid for space combat, and there's extra material, background material, basically on there as well. I mean, that's not always quite practical being there, but it's there. And then lastly, what we've got is so the last map. So you've actually got what you've got here is a map of, on one side of the solar system, so you can sort of plot, the characters moving around, going from planet to planet, and then the other you have two ship maps. So you've got like deck plans. You've got a small cruiser up there, and then a medium cruiser there. So, and to be honest, the ship maps sort of feel not dissimilar to the ones they did, sort of 8 years earlier for Star Frontiers. But you do, I mean, in this box set, it definitely feels as if you get a lot. There's a lot in here. There's a lot of reference material. There's plenty to play with. I'm not sure there's an adventure. I will have to dig a bit further when I get around to reviewing it properly, which I'm planning to do, because this year is the 30th anniversary of the game, and I thought I would bring it to people's attention, just to say, look, remember this, do a retrospective, I mean, even though I think that the second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons rules are probably not the best for doing a science fiction role-playing game, I think this is likely a worthy attempt. I mean, obviously, being basically Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition, it means people can switch from that game to this with relative ease. Anyway, so overall, there were only a handful of basic supplements that were produced for it, so it wasn't a total success. And the likelihood is that more people will remember for the board game, which came out a couple of years earlier. This is Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, role-playing game by Mike Pondsmith, published in 1990 by TSR. Thanks for watching another unboxing. I will be back soon. Bye for now.